Joanna Drake, I normally say welcome to the Leaders and Founders podcast, but you've welcomed me to THG Studios
that's
today.
right.
So thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, good stuff. Incredible facilities that you have here as well.
Yeah.
You must be quite proud of everything that you see.
Very proud, yeah. It's always lovely to show people around, actually.
Yeah.
Get a break from the day job and just take it all in what we've built here, really. It really is quite incredible.
Amazing, great stuff.
Yeah.
Well, look, everyone knows who you are anyway, pretty much. You are, you're famous. You're famous on the tech scene. Everyone knows who you are. But for those who maybe don't, can you just give us a quick intro, who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive right in.
Yeah, so I've ended up in this tech industry. It wasn't a plan at all, complete mistake. I wanted to be a professional sports person of one type or another, and I think everybody that ever knew me at school thought that's where I'd end up. I did every sport going, I was in every club, I played in additional clubs outside of school, whether it was hockey, tennis, netball, cricket even,
Oh, nice.
just anything, I'd give it a go, basketball.
Sure.
So I thought I would either be a coach or a teacher or maybe try professional. Tennis was probably my best and favourite sport. And then it all went a bit wrong and got injured at the wrong time and sort of fell into the tech industry. And started, I think probably the thing I'm most proud of is I started what people would consider at the bottom on a service desk, on a help desk,
Right, okay.
answering the phone
Sure.
to people that are in trouble with their tech and basically fixing problems.
So many things to unpick there because there's a lot to go through. Why tech? Why specifically from sports, and that's where you thought things were going to go? What was the link there?
Well, there was no plan, there was no link. Things just started to happen. I think when I was doing computer studies at GCSE level, I wasn't really interested at all. And I started playing volleyball actually at that time. And volleyball was not very well known in the UK. And I built this little sort of animated web page. This is a very long time ago as well. So web page with a spinning volleyball on it that turned into a globe. And then it was like, this is pretty cool actually.
Super high-tech animation.
Yeah, exactly, groundbreaking. And I thought actually, I hadn't really thought about what you could do with tech. And then, but even then, it wasn't something I'd thought about. And with my careers advice at school, they'd suggested that maybe I might like to be a receptionist because I'm quite bubbly, I'm friendly, and it's like you'd be a really great receptionist. I thought, yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. And I did work experience as a receptionist with the switchboard, and that was quite good fun. But carried on sort of with the wanting to do the tennis, and had an accident playing netball actually, and got quite a serious injury. And started working for my dad's friend who was a ex-IBM consultant, and he needed a bit of help. And I started he built 3D modelling software, and he worked with clients and working out their requirements and things. And back then you couldn't buy the PCs to power that software, so they had to be bespoke built. So I got quite into building PCs because I'm quite practical. And I asked if I could clear out his cowshed and build a bench in there with an anti-static mat. And I bought all the components and the cases, and I built these really powerful machines for running this software on. And I really enjoyed it. And then it started to go down the route of, the next logical step is software developer.
Sure.
So I started doing some of that, and I'd go to a lot of conferences and speak to customers. And I love speaking to customers about what problem they were trying to solve or what opportunity they were going after. I love that bit. And I'd be right, come back in a couple of hours. I'm just going to go behind the stand and I'll show you what I've done. And it was that bit I didn't enjoy, the actual coding bit.
Oh, right.
I just
Which is a fairly key element to
being
a software developer.
pretty much. And then I thought, this sucks. Tech's not for me at all, because it felt like that was the only route in which I could go.
Okay.
So, but following this incident, still working with this guy, he'd got a contract with, they're known as Diageo now, but they were Grand Metropolitan and United Distillers back then. And I was hobbling around and I needed a job, and he said, I've got a job on the help desk. And I was like, oh, okay. And I loved it.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Because you're speaking to people a lot as well, and
I love picking the phone up, like what problem have I got to solve now? What puzzle?
We are hiring. We love people who speak to people. So,
It does help. It does help. Yeah.
amazing.
Personality is important.
So to take that back, so you fell into it to a point,
Yeah.
but it was obviously
Yeah.
something that you did enjoy, which
Yes.
is great.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to build high-powered systems? Was that just something you did off your own back?
It's really funny when I think about it now, because my grandma works for GEC Marconi building motherboards.
Okay.
I didn't realise this till afterwards. Maybe it got passed down my genes. But I can remember when I was younger saying I'd love a job putting furniture together for MFI, because I love practical elements of building things. And I think I just logically worked it out. I got a little bit of help from Martin, who was my dad's friend at the time, who sort of helped me out. But basically taking a computer apart and logically reverse engineering it, and then going, right, I need the motherboard, I need the CPU, I need the fan, and I need a hard drive, and I need some RAM, and just sort of building it and trying to, buy beautiful cases to put it in so it looked good. And then I'd pop it in the back of my mini metro and drive all over the UK. Places like Perkins Engines, Westland Helicopters, they were big engineering firms. Lotus was another big client. And I would go and install this hardware and install the software from about 1 million floppy disks. And then train them how to use it.
A lot of people listening may not know what a floppy disk is, actually.
It's a save icon for the kids out there. Yeah,
exactly. That's the way we'll have to explain it. So, and again, look, for people who maybe don't know your history, you have had leadership positions at some of the best known companies in the UK. From what you've said, I would hazard a guess that you probably didn't expect that you would now be, where you are, basically.
No, not at all.
What happened? Because there was a lot of stuff obviously in there, right?
I think it's my passion for problem solving, actually. And I think when I started on this the first day was awful. I went home in tears because someone, an engineering manager, shouted at me because I'd called because his bit of software wasn't working. And he's actually a really good friend of mine now. I've stayed in touch with him for years. So he shouted at me. And I went home like really upset, a bit like, how dare you call me about, I'm more important than you and there's no way my software's. And I went back the next day and I thought, no, your software sucks and it needs to be fixed. So I went to see him and I said, look, this isn't good enough. Customers are ringing about this. It's my first day. I had several calls about it, and he was like, what's your name? And I thought, oh no, here I go. And he said, that's the first time anyone's really shared that with me.
Okay.
Not surprising because he was quite unapproachable.
Right,
So yeah, it was that sort of, I got into the problem solving, and then I decided I need to look at the big picture about what's going on here. And I need to make it so that no one has to call the help desk ever, because everything just works perfectly all the time. So then you start saying I need to fix the bigger problem. And I think then, I started to go up the ranks and become like the help desk team leader, and then I sort of went to be more on the hardware side, like end user computing or desktop support or whatever it was called. I went onto that side and I started to lead teams. And as this went on, I realised that all of my sporting experience, when I applied it at work, it worked really well. And it took a few years for that to click.
To click into place.
So, you get a problem and you think about, like, what's the game we're playing? What players do I need in what position? Who's got what skill and experience that I need to solve this problem?
Yeah.
And I love still, that's what I do to this very day. It's just the roles have got bigger and bigger, and the opportunities have got bigger and bigger, and the problems have got bigger and bigger. But I think it was that sort of leadership using my sports experience and things like leading, all the sports that I did, I was captain of all of the teams, so I was used to sort of trying to figure out what's our strategy and how do I change the shape of things depending on what's going on. So I think it was when I started to apply that that I realised that actually I could lead teams. It was never the plan at all. I never thought I want to be this or I want to do that. It literally just happened.
I think from what I see, they are generally the best leaders though, where, it's not necessarily an extrinsic motivation. You want the accolade of having a big title, what have you. People should want to develop themselves. You want to progress, you want to be successful in your career. but it's the people that I think naturally assume those roles that I've personally seen and believe often do make the best leaders. I mean, would you agree with that?
Definitely. I think someone was asking me about this morning, said, did you know that you wanted to be a CIO or a CTO or whatever? And I absolutely didn't. I didn't even know what that was. I can remember I've been really lucky throughout my career that I've had some amazing mentors.
Sure.
And I can remember having a chat and somebody saying to me, what do you want to do when you get older? Or where are you going in your career? And I said, I don't know, but this is what I really enjoy doing. I definitely had jobs I didn't enjoy doing. I explained like about the software developer. And I didn't want to get out of bed every day and do something I didn't enjoy. So when I described the things I like doing, he said, oh, that's kind of like what a CIO does or a CTO. And it's like, right, okay, well, that's helpful, I suppose, because I could start looking at those types of roles and knowing that I'm going to enjoy them.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just with that advice and looking to do the things that I enjoy, really.
Sure. Yeah, perfect. Did everything go perfectly in your career, or were there some hiccups along the way? Were there mistakes you made?
Oh God, yeah. Definitely mistakes.
I know there were mistakes.
Like that's where you learn the most, isn't it? Is mistakes. I mean, yeah, I think when I think about some of the projects I've been involved in, that haven't gone to plan, you learn so much from those. And I got quite fascinated by studying failures, actually.
Sure. Personal failures, team failures,
personal and industry failures, and just looking and investigating. And I used to do quite a lot of talking at events about when things go wrong, and the majority of the time it's not technology. It's usually leadership, it's people, it's communication, it's lack of vision or lack of knowing where you're trying to get to. So yeah, I think failures are good. Just learn from them quickly, and move on.
And make sure it's ideally not a catastrophic one. Would be,
well, yeah.
If you can avert
but then
that.
we all have those, and I know, sometimes when we have issues or if there's human error, and you can get in a situation where an individual, an engineer, feels terrible about it, And I think, the fact is, put your hand up and say, I've made a mistake, and learn. We'll all learn from it, actually. It's a learning moment for all of us.
Yeah,
so, but hiccups, I don't know. I can't think of any hiccups like career-wise, because there wasn't really a plan.
Didn't really, yeah, of course.
I never had I need to get to there. It's just.
Because some people I speak to, they have. Everyone's different, right? So some people just naturally go with the flow. Other people that I know have thought, right, I have to land a FANG job, so I'm now going to set the next 10 years up, and I have to do this, and I have to hit those things. So it's more regimented. To me, it doesn't sound super fun, to be completely honest with you.
No, that sounds like a huge amount of pressure.
Yeah,
on
so
yourself,
because you've worked in some great businesses and many different industries.
Yes, yeah.
I'm assuming from what you just said, it's just naturally happened, and opportunities come up, or something's happened.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in technology, you can take something you've learned in one industry and apply it. And I think business is quite like that, actually.
Yeah.
If you can say, well, I've come from the gambling industry and now I'm coming to work in media, or now I'm coming to work in e-commerce. It's bringing a whole world of other experiences with you into that job. And the great thing about technology is it can just be applied in so many different ways across all sorts of different industries.
Have you found your approach has changed based on the industry you work in, or do you believe there are, for want of a better kind of phrase, generic leadership capabilities you can apply anywhere?
Oh yeah. Not just at work, just generally
Kids,
in life.
husbands.
Family, everything. I think, I think the whole approach of not putting pressure on yourself. I think we can all do that as humans, and I certainly try not to do that, because you can live in this world where you want to have the perfect career, you want to have the perfect home, the perfect life, the perfect marriage, you want to be the perfect parent, you want to be the perfect cook. Yeah. You can't do all of those things. But I think those sort of, to me, it all goes back to sport. What are we trying to do in this moment? Where are we trying to get to, and how are we going to get there? Yeah. And working together, just making sure everybody's really clear. Storytelling is a really, really powerful thing in leadership, and so many people don't do it.
Sure.
So many people are doing things, and you ask them why they're doing it, and then you say, oh, well, I thought it was because, you know, we were doing that because of that, and then that means that we can get this revenue here or drive this efficiency there. And they're like, oh, that's wicked. It's like, yeah, let's do that. That's a really good thing to do. So making sure people know the why.
Yeah, sure.
Of what they're doing.
I think
that's really important.
That's a really critical one. And so many people we speak to, you know, it's amazing how siloed even teams working on similar things in the same product area, you know, the lack of visibility they have of the team next to them sometimes. But is that something you are very actively trying to include where it makes sense? Transparency.
Definitely. Transparency, collaboration, working together. What I see a lot as well is people just really overcomplicating things, even in the way they communicate.
Yeah.
How many times do you see it where that you've got a team working on something and there's 4 different email threads going on, and some people are on one and not the other, and then there's a Teams chat kicking off, and there's been a meeting going on that you didn't know about, and then a meeting you were in that the others didn't know about, and things just get really overcomplicated, really inefficient. And I like to keep things as simple as they can possibly be.
Sure.
You can add the complication in if you need to, but if you overcomplicate it, people lose sight. Sort of breaking things down, you know, today, to be successful today. We know that's where we want to be by whatever, a year, 3 months, 6 months or whatever.
Sure.
Or 6 weeks. So that's where we need to be by the end of that. So today, what are the 2 things we need to do today that make sure we can get there, and just breaking it down for everybody.
And ideally delete at least 2 of those email threads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that drives me mad. I'm just like, right, stop. Especially if it's in Teams, I just hit that call button.
Yeah, of course.
What's going on here then?
To be fair, Tamsin, who's our head of brand, who was sitting behind camera, is probably just going like this because we do have WhatsApp, email, Teams, there's Slack sometimes. So we'll make sure we take that.
I think
right,
you're communicating well because there's lots of it, but it's not necessarily great quality.
Yeah, exactly. And so many people know of THG, formerly Hub Group, obviously. You know, obviously huge brands, but there are so many things that you do, and even now, and I've done quite a lot of research, there are so many different brands you work with. So can you just, because you've been here for 6.5 years now? Yeah. So it's been a while,
and
I'm sure
a stint,
a lot's changed in that time as well.
Oh yeah, massively. Massively. So when I think about THG, I think of it as a tech business. I think everyone that works here mostly thinks of it as a tech business, but I think every business is a tech business, whether it's realised it yet or not. So tech business, you know, predominantly known for e-commerce. We own some of our own brands. We own hotels and gyms and country clubs and
Which
things
is
like
something
that.
I didn't know.
So it does mean from a tech perspective, we basically create technical solutions for our own brands, and then we sell that to clients. So like the studio we're sitting in here now is obviously used for THG brands, but it's used for our client brands as well. So, you know, we build things that power our business, and then we sell it to others.
Yeah, amazing.
So it's a really good model.
And this space is incredible as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've been to some incredible offices, but the facilities here are amazing.
Very cool.
You basically own Manchester Airport, right? So
there's a lot of logos around, isn't there, when you drive around here, but it's a very, very cool place to be.
Yeah, no, it's
every
really
day,
nice, definitely. And in your role, working with so many different brands, obviously you've got your leadership team, of course, and power of delegation, of course, and making sure people have, you know, great focus and priorities is key. But how do you operate? Obviously there are spikes, there are different priorities, but how do you manage such a diverse portfolio of work?
We obviously have to be very well organised. We're talking all of the time. We're working together all of the time. We're very fast-paced environment. I love fast-paced business. I couldn't work in a place that isn't fast-paced. So, you know, we generally know our priorities and where we're going and what order we're doing things in, because we will pivot. Things will change and we need to pivot really quickly.
Sure.
And if you're going to pivot really quickly, you need to be fairly well organised in what you're doing. So that going back to knowing every single day what you're doing, we do that every day. This is what we need to do today to be successful. So we've got really, really good relationships within our team, talking all the time. And you know, the next morning it might be right, you know, today's priority is this, we need to pivot, we need to do that, which means You know, we have to communicate well with our stakeholders.
Yeah.
We're always having to think about what we're delivering today, but then we need to be thinking about what we're delivering in the future as well. So we've got clients we're delivering for constantly, all of the time. You know, many different sprints running across all of the engineering teams all the time, constantly scaling, building up our infrastructure in the background as well. Working with clients on their roadmaps, running customer advisory boards, finding out, you know, where they're trying to get to help us build our product roadmaps and things. So, yeah, it's busy and it's great. So, but we all just work really, really closely together.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, amazing, great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess keeping things diverse is great because everything's different.
Oh,
no
it's
2
really,
days are really the same.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. I mean, you know,
some people like the consistency.
But certainly if you want to, you know, solve problems and create products using lots of different types of technology, there's something for everyone at THG, whether you're, you know, even whether you're on the service side or you're on the creative side or you're more on the UX or your product, or your platform engineering or your front-end engineering, there's so much opportunity. And that's something we work on really hard as well, is trying to make sure people understand the different roles in tech. Like at the beginning of my career, when it's like, well, you've done that now, software engineer. It's like, oh, no, I don't like this. But actually, there are so many roles in tech that suit so many different people's passions and experience that there's opportunities for everybody.
Definitely.
So,
and I think there has been a bit of a stigma, isn't there? I think in the past when if something doesn't work out and you pivot your own career, you know, people think, oh, well, you failed at that, maybe you failed as a software developer. Why are you now trying to do this? But I think that there seems to be really good encouragement in good businesses. It's kind of a success though, isn't it? As well to go, I don't like that, I'm going to do something different, I'm going to try and find something different. Yeah, of course. And some of the best product managers, for example, are people that can, you know, manage the business. They understand, they're technical enough, of course, to understand translating that to engineers, but not everyone has to code.
Well, no, and you see people go different ways. You see, I think about some great product managers we've got that are ex-engineers and ex-engineers that are product managers. And we always say in our teams, you don't need to leave THG, just try a different role. There's so many different things to do. It is a great place to be able to try out and find. I always find if you get people doing something they enjoy, the likelihood of them being successful is much higher, because you jump out of bed in the morning, you want to go and do it. I didn't want to jump out of the bed and code. But all the other elements of tech I thoroughly enjoy. So
amazing, great stuff. And is that something you actively encourage? You know, for people to really explore other opportunities? Definitely.
I think about people that maybe haven't been performing that great, and having conversations along the lines of, I actually think you'd really enjoy doing this or trying that, and seeing the difference and the turnaround. And you think about some of your highest performers, they're not performing well, all of a sudden, like they've failed at something to get to there. I think there's a lot of high performers we've got that when you look back at the different roles they've done, they weren't always high performing. So I think you have to try and, you know, find something you enjoy and you can be good at, and always looking for opportunities for people to try something else.
Yeah, sure. And I'm assuming that you've had that personal experience as well within the business, in terms of where your THG career has gone and different things that have happened.
Yeah, definitely. I think in a lot of my roles, actually, I went in to do one thing and ended up trying and doing lots of different things. Or, well, okay, maybe you've done that, how about trying this? I mean, THG is really good for that, actually, for letting people try different things and get different experiences. But, you know, I wouldn't have gone on a help desk. I was sort of, that time I was still hobbling around on crutches. It quite suited me to be sat at a desk with a headset
injury
on.
was still super fresh. I've just gone straight to my knee, by the way. Was it an injury?
It was my knee.
It
It was.
Okay.
Always is,
Always
isn't it,
is.
when someone says
ACL
about
or something.
Yeah, it was
ACL. There we go. Cool. Which is terrible, by the way. I don't mean to laugh at that. It's obviously, that's
probably,
a really serious
injury. To be honest, it was probably a blessing in disguise. But I wouldn't have done that job. To me, that sounded like, not a very enjoyable job at all, and I absolutely loved it. And yeah, I think about all the places I've worked, and the job I went into, I never came out of that organisation in the same job.
Yeah.
I got to try lots of different things. And my background then went sort of more down the service operations and service management route.
Okay.
So it was much more about ways of working and driving efficiencies and stakeholder management and client relationships, which is something that experience is invaluable.
Definitely.
To me.
Yeah, it really is.
So yeah, that's another reason why it's so great to try a different role and then bring some of that experience into another role.
Sure, definitely. On the injury, don't want to dwell on it too much because I'm sure you've repressed most of these memories, but you obviously played to a really high level, I'm assuming. And
Tried to.
Well, I'm sure you did. You've probably been quite humble, but obviously that's a big knockback. So, having the resiliency to really kind of pick yourself up and go again, did you allow yourself the time to, kind of drown the sorrows, so to speak, for a little while, or did you really pick yourself back up quite quickly?
No, I think I was in financial difficulty actually.
Often
because I was self-employed and had this injury. I bought my first house when I was 19 when I bought my first house. So I'd got a mortgage. I bought myself quite a nice car.
Okay, nice.
And suddenly I had no income.
Cool.
And
quite an issue.
luckily I'd got some insurance sort of on my mortgage payments or whatever, but it was, I was desperate to get back and sort of rang my old boss and was like, I really, really need a job. And that's when he said, well, actually, back at, I think they were still United Distillers and Vintners then. They got the job on the help desk. I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I was getting the train into London every day, like hobbling around on my crutches. And I needed to work because I needed to get myself back in order and back on my feet. So it's probably that drove me, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I didn't really think about it too much.
Yeah.
I think I thought I'd go back coaching.
Okay.
But I just honestly, I got so sort of involved and engrossed in my sort of tech career that I
never had to look back.
Never
and
really.
Here you are today.
Yeah.
So yeah, chat to me. Yeah. You've made it.
That's it. Now I could go home.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Just throw it in now. There's no point. This is the peak. But I'm assuming there's still so much more you want to achieve. Obviously, moving forwards as well. How do you look at that? Because hitting these types of roles, the CIO, CTO, when you're in that kind of area, I suppose that is the highest to a point within many areas of technology. There's obviously so much you can do, but are you still, I'm sure the answer is yes, but extremely driven and you're always striving for
probably
more?
more than ever.
Okay.
Just loving it, absolutely loving it. I adore what I do. It's really not difficult waking up in the morning and doing what I do. I do, and probably, certainly over the last 10 years, I've done a lot outside of my job in the industry, various advisory boards, and doing lots of work around attracting people into our industry as well, trying to help with the whole diversity situation. To be honest, where I'm feeling right now is that I love doing what I'm doing and I want to carry on doing it for as long as I can. So many exciting things on the horizon here. But probably, I think I want to spend a bit more time with my family and try and maybe, pull back from the stuff I do outside of work quite so much. And I love it. And I've done it for years, but you get to a point when you're like, right, I love my job and I love my family, of course, and I love all of this other stuff, but something's got to, give a bit.
Sure. Finding the balance.
Yeah.
It's always virtually impossible at times when it feels like it. But but it's so important. And family's always first, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Although as we spoke about briefly before, my children are pretty tough at the moment. So I'm really enjoying being here.
How many have you got?
I've got 2 kids.
Got 2, okay.
I have a perfect daughter and Henry, my son.
Okay,
I've got one of those. And I've heard a lot of people shout different Henrys that I'm out. I think it's just a naughty boy's name. To be fair.
Suits, doesn't it?
Yeah. And yourself?
Just the one boy, George, who's 11.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, great. They're tough though. They're
very
really hard.
Tough. Really tough. but yeah, such good fun.
Yeah, of
such
course.
good fun as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What
Yeah.
kind of stuff? Because we also sort of, I think, partially connected on the fact that we're both quite sad, depressed Spurs fans as well, which, yeah, unfortunately is the worst decision my dad ever made, personally. But outside of work, you know, what interests you? Obviously, sport's a big element and something that you're really passionate about as well.
Yeah, we all love sport. So my husband and my son and I, we love not so much playing anymore. I mean, we like to exercise and things like that, and you know, knock a cricket ball around or a football around or whatever. But we love watching sports. We're big Formula One fans.
Yeah,
so you know, that's when it's Formula One season. That's that weekend. You know, the weekends are usually around that. We've got Vegas this weekend.
Amazing. Are you going to Vegas?
Not going to Vegas,
right.
no. We got married in Vegas though. So
really?
yeah.
I mean, that's probably a different podcast, that conversation, but how was that though? That sounds amazing.
It probably is, yeah. No, we just decided, I don't know, I never really wanted the big day. And
did you do Elvis?
we did. We got married in a helicopter over the strip, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. On the
This
same
is quite
day
extra.
and time of our first kiss. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, amazing.
yeah.
I was quite,
Oh,
so
it was
you really
brilliant.
pinned everything
yeah,
back.
yeah. It saves. I only have to remember one date then, because it's like, what was the day we first met? What's our anniversary? When did we get married?
Exactly.
It's all the same date, so it's nice and easy.
Same time, same day, everything perfect. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You didn't kind of skydive out though?
No,
anything,
we
like, you
didn't.
just came
I
back?
think Paul would have liked to have done that actually,
Yeah, of
but
course.
no, not me. But no, lots of sports, just basic family stuff together.
Yeah.
You know, onesies on the sofa watching a movie,
Yeah,
having a nice
nice.
roast dinner, going out for lunch,
Can't
going
beat it.
for a walk with a dog. Just the really simple things, I think, are the things that make us the happiest.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things. If my wife is listening, I do love my son. I'm only joking, but
Poor Henry.
yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't know. You haven't met him. But when you have had those really tough days, when you come back and it is really stressful in the house, it can be tough because it's, you know, out of the frying pan into the fire to a point. But you know, when it is nice and calm, I think it is family that does make you realise, you know what. That argument maybe we had or disagreement we had is completely irrelevant, you know, and you can pick things back up.
Oh, definitely. I think, you know, as well, I think you begin to realise what's important in life, the really valuable things that you've got in your life. And we've been through a hell of a lot as a family as well. And I think, you know, we always say that doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and it is so true. And I think that's why we relish in those simple things, time together,
of course.
just being the best gift ever, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how long have you actually been in this area for? I know you're recently back, but
yeah. Oh gosh.
Was it for the THG role when you first came?
Yeah, we moved up here when I first got the job. That was 2017. We moved up as a family.
Yeah.
And then it was during the pandemic. Actually, my son and my husband had to come down just because George was having a lot of health problems at the time. So he was in Southampton Hospital. I was up here.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic hit, I moved back down there because we had a place up here and a place down there.
Yeah.
And then we sort of really decided that was, rather than, I used to do this thing where I'd drive up on a Sunday night and then drive home on a Friday night and be mum and wife and all of that, and then zoom back. I suppose in a way there were benefits to that, because in the week you're really focused on the job, and then at the weekend
your family.
Your family. But yeah, when I went down, when all the lockdown happened and everything, we realised, yes, it's actually quite nice being together all the time.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say being apart.
Yeah. Oh, we had to have a family meeting to talk about it, because like suddenly we are back together. We need to think about what's going to make us all happy here.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and then just decided, actually, this is what we need. We need to be back together. And then just moved sort of recently into a new role here, and just had a chat with my boss really about moving back up here as a family. So so yeah, we're back again.
I love it.
Yeah.
Genuinely love it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
There is something about Manchester that I think I've personally experienced. Everyone's just like really friendly.
Really friendly. We say that all the time. The difference between being in London and being up here. And we don't live in Manchester, we live in Cheshire, and it doesn't matter where we go.
Yeah.
Everyone's just so warm and friendly.
Whereas you don't get that on the tube.
No, you don't.
London,
Definitely
so
not. No.
Everyone's just head down, miserable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's such that is a weird one though, because I lived in London and I loved living in London when I did.
Yeah.
But it just feels different up here. It really does.
Yeah, it does. It feels just. I definitely think it feels more relaxed.
Yeah.
And just warm and friendly, which is nice.
But not warm all the time. Quite
Not
wet,
warm.
actually.
No, you don't. Don't move in for the weather.
Yeah, of course.
Well, we lived in Edinburgh actually for a couple of years, and
oh really?
A bit,
oh right. Okay. Oh, so this is like Central Pay.
Yeah, compared to Edinburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I think. I mean, my wife loves it around here. From the Real Housewives of Cheshire.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
She was like, I think we should move. I was like, yeah, we could probably look to move house. Where to? Alderley Edge. I was like, okay, amazing.
Yeah.
12 million just lying around casually. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, there's some very expensive property around. Yeah,
there's some lovely ones.
Really lovely though.
So you've massively, kind of over-exaggerated what you think I earn. But yeah, no, I'm here for it. It's all good. So what's sort of next for you personally? Obviously, there's a lot of different stuff happening. I mean, we're just before Christmas as well, right?
Yeah.
Black Friday is next week as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. This time
thanks
next
for seeing me at this time.
Yeah,
by the way.
no pressure. Little break from the madness.
From the madness. And just for that as well, what does Black Friday actually look like for people working in e-commerce?
Well, it's probably even though the pressure's on it, I think it's my favourite time of the year. It's a real buzz. There's obviously massive preparations in the run up to it. Sure. Making sure we're scaled up, constantly load testing, trying to find our breaking points and address them. So yeah, actually, from a technology point of view, it's really interesting just doing that, just going, how far will these systems go before they break, and finding that and then looking at that. But then the actual event, I mean, this place will be transformed next week, and there'll be musicians and performers and DJs and competitions going on. And, we are open. We'll go into 24/7 rotas and working.
Oh, okay, cool.
We'll be in our war room this time next week, just watching everything.
Popcorn, or is it more kind of everything on hand, just making
sure? Well, our plan is always, if everything goes to plan, we'll be sat with our feet up with tumbleweed going through.
Has that ever happened?
Nearly.
Okay.
Nearly. You always get something. You always get something.
Something that you've just maybe slipped out of focus
or something unexpected, and it's fine. We'll just deal with it. But just the general buzz about the place, and there'll be food stalls everywhere, and it's just really good fun.
Nice.
Really good fun time. I think for the tech teams, maybe can't relax quite because they are watching everything to make sure, is anything creaking, is there anything we need to do, so they're sort of constantly watching.
On edge.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we feel like we can relax a bit
of course.
after peak.
Yeah, perfect. And then it's just take 3 weeks off, just chill out, or is it? I'm sure that's not the case.
We are going away actually.
Nice.
For Christmas this year actually, so that'll be.
Oh really?
That'll be nice.
Is that something you've always done? Or
no, never.
Time?
First time we've actually been away for Christmas. So that should be
great.
Should be really good fun.
Yeah, this is the first time we're actually having Christmas just my wife and kids actually.
Oh, I think that's quite nice actually.
Yeah, it's because my wife's from Sheffield, so we're always sort of up and down the country, and I love my family. I've got quite a small family. She's got quite a big family. We love seeing everyone as much as we can, but by the time it's 2nd, 3rd of January, I'm absolutely shattered.
Yeah, exhausted.
And you just don't have any time for yourself either. So
I think one of the best Christmases we had was when it was just us, and there was no pressure.
Yeah.
We could do whatever we wanted to do. There was no sort of stress of timings and things like that. So that should be nice and relaxing.
Yeah, because I think the only other time was actually lockdown, when you couldn't see anyone.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to meet my father-in-law in Peterborough Services to swap presents over, because we were supposed to be up there. So we got all the kids' presents delivered up there to her mum and dad's house.
Right, okay.
So then Christmas was 2 days later when I think it was 2 days, when they said that you couldn't see anyone. So I had to meet my father-in-law in Peterborough to swap presents over.
Oh dear.
That was a pretty weird and horrible time for everyone, wasn't it?
It was very strange.
Yeah.
In fact, you've just reminded me, it was that that year we were going away for Christmas. We were going down
Okay.
to Devon.
Sure.
And I don't know if you remember the whole which postcodes were
Yeah.
locked down and which ones weren't.
Just gonna
And they
step
kept
that
locking
side.
down different areas. It was like, can we get through to Devon or have we got to go?
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, that's it.
Yeah.
It's cancelled.
Yeah, of course.
And I can remember us just dashing to M&S and just buying Christmas in
Yeah,
about
yeah.
an hour.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Actually turned out absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, we
So,
had a great time.
Yeah.
So, and we always said that we'd continue to sort of do that and
Yeah.
fit everything around us, but
yeah.
it just went straight back to normal. So yeah.
All those pressures.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. What would you? I appreciate it is nearly Black Friday, by the way, and you know I don't want to take too much of your time, but I obviously love meeting with you. You've been great hosts, so thank you for having us again.
Pleasure.
For people listening, maybe that are looking to really get into leadership, or people that are in maybe their sort of early leadership careers and they really do want to progress or just be the best versions of themselves that they can be, have you got some advice for them, or what would you have told a younger you know, just getting into her first sort of management roles?
I think, I mean, maybe it was a bit different for me. For me, there was a big realisation about the whole sports thing.
Okay,
and
yeah.
the minute I realised I could translate that and use that. But I look at everything like through a sports lens. So with the team, it'll always be like, well, this is the problem I've got, this is the skill I need, and the position, you know, playing people in a position of strength. Like, it's all about people. Technology is all about people.
Yeah.
And when things fail, it's usually because of the people, it's not because of the technology.
Process,
Process, confusion, lack of clarity. Do not underestimate the power of storytelling, making sure people are clear, that they get it, create excitement and energy around what you're doing.
Sure.
You want everyone in your team to wake up in the morning and go, yeah, this is what I'm off to do. I'm part of delivering this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to work and do my part of that. So just don't underestimate. It seems simple, but talking to people and clarity and being well organised, but don't overcomplicate. Don't overcomplicate things as well. Keep them as simple as you possibly can. So yeah, and none of that's about technology.
Sure.
It's all about team.
Tech's not the problem. You can always learn the technology. Someone knows the tool.
Exactly,
it's how everything fits together.
But if you're
isn't
not playing people in the right position, in a position of strength,
it?
I've always wanted to find people and put them in the right position. Because if you get the right team together to do something, they'll be and give them what they need to be successful, you will succeed.
I can hear the sports person. coming out.
I love it.
I think it's incredible. Though. I think looking at what has made high-performing sports teams, what's made people successful, I think, as much as I hate to say it, the class of '92, you know, Man United, there were obviously some extremely gifted players in there, but there were also people who were just great squad members. But when you bring everything together, and goes without saying, you have to have ability, right? To a point, you need to be good at what you do. You need to be great engineers or a great architect or something. But is that something that it sounds like you've always sort of had that inside of you as well?
Because you know, on a team, you want the best players and you want to play them in the right position. So you're not going to go get the best goalie and put them as centre forward. And then, so you need to make the people as good as they can be as individuals, make that the best goalkeeper. And that's where the coaching and the mentoring comes in as well. You know, you get them a coach to strengthen that skill. So you've got to make them great as individuals and great at what they do. And then you need to combine them in the right way and give them clarity about what they need to achieve.
Sure.
And then sprinkle on top of that, giving them something they enjoy. I think that's where people really succeed, is when they've got the skill, the experience, they're in the right team, and they enjoy it.
Sure.
I think that is the thing that makes that's like the winning combination.
Why aren't Spurs winning anything? That's the next. That we haven't got long enough to discuss that.
We haven't. No.
Amazing. Cool, great stuff. And I guess, look, last kind of words of wisdom or advice. Is there anything you'd sort of like to leave things on, or you've given us some great wisdom? I think what it sounds like as well. So many leaders are completely different in their approach. Some people are, and obviously I'm sure you are very much in the detail, and obviously you have a great technical ability, but it sounds like you try and get the best out of people.
Yeah, I'm a very sort of people-orientated leader, like that leadership style. But for me, it's about the power of the team.
Sure.
Because you can't do anything on your own. You need that team. So for me, it's all about the team.
Yeah, all about the team.
Yeah.
So if you're in the
Yeah.
team,
Yeah.
he really cares about you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Jo, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I've thoroughly
Cheers.
enjoyed it.
Me too.
Hopefully you have.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's been good.
And hopefully we can come back next Friday for the DJ, the music, all of this stuff. That would be amazing. but thank you so much. And for anyone who is interested, obviously you've done loads of talks and you're pretty active, right? Sort of in the scene. So keep an eye, obviously, on Jo.
Yeah.
THG, if I was a software developer or worked in tech, it's somewhere I'd be looking to check out as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
are you hiring? Is
Definitely.
anything happening or not?
Always. Yeah. Always looking for the
talent.
right talent. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
People with the right attitude.
Come and join the team.
Sure. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Excellent.
Really
Pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.